Does a dream wedding make for a dream marriage, or does it lead to divorce? Is the vacation home you just rented a breeding ground for infectious diseases?
Uh-oh.
What is the real deal with these headlines? You're about to find out. So this first headline reads, "Flashy weddings increase divorce rates." Question is, could your perfectly planned wedding that walk down the aisle lead you to someday walk away? So a new survey looked at more than 16,000 people, found couples who spent more than $30,000 on their wedding were more likely to end up divorced. And I'm not laughing because it's funny, it's just, it got us talking backstage. Maybe you overplan the wedding, you get so focused on the wedding, you forget maybe you're marrying the wrong person. I don't know.
Well, marriages these days, weddings are very expensive, and they're getting more expensive. But you have to look at the reasoning why you're doing this lavish ceremony. Women want to have a nice ceremony, right?
Plenty of men do too.
I think plenty of men and women want lovely ceremonies, but the question is, are you doing it because it's something really you want? Or are you just trying to impress other people? And I think this is a really interesting one because culturally, there are a lot of cultures where the bigger, the grander the wedding, the more it is about.
Indian weddings, for example,
100%. I had
huge.
How long was your wedding? It was
oh my
a
gosh,
week
my
long?
wedding was 5 days long.
Whoa.
My parents spent an enormous amount of money that had nothing to do with me or my husband. I honestly wish they had given us that money for a down payment on a house or to pay off our student debt.
I'm sorry, Dr. B, but it's too late now.
I know, right? Well, almost 15 years later, even though they spent a ton, we're still married. But I think that through the whole thing, we really did have this sort of sense of humor about it because I think there are two aspects of it. One is the costs have gone up so exponentially. And the moment you say
$26,000 is the average cost of a wedding.
Yeah, the moment you say it's for a wedding,
average.
that florist, that caterer, they're gonna be like, oh, wedding, 5 times. Like they're adding a huge premium, so that's part of it. But I think part of it is in this social media age, and we've talked about this in other segments on the show, where people are so concerned about impressing everyone else that they lose the focus as to why they're even doing it. And they certainly lose the focus on your spouse, like you're saying. And I think that's a setup for disaster down the road. And I think one of the most interesting things about this particular survey was they were looking at people quite in the short term. It wasn't even like, do you follow these people over a 10-year trajectory? It was over like a couple years these people were ending up divorced, which was insane to me.
Well, that's why if you're a guest at one of these weddings, enjoy it while you can. Yeah. There's not going to be another invite because they're probably going to be divorced within a year. I do think
somebody that's getting married, quote the study, it may save you a little bit of money, right? Oh, you know, you have better chances of things working out if we spend a little bit less money on this ceremony. But where you don't want to penny pinch is, uh-oh, I don't have mine on today.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Buster.
I was scrubbing my hands yesterday. I took it off. What can I say? But don't scrimp on the ring.
Yes. So a different study showed that people who spent less than $1,000 on the engagement ring were more likely also, at least statistically, to end up in divorce. I think that that's a tough one too, because your ring should be really based on your budget, and whatever is meaningful for you in your means is great, and you'll treasure it for the rest of your life.
The first wife, I've only had one wife. What I'm trying to say,
daytime exclusive, Dr. Ordon opens up.
The first ring I bought was more along the lines of a resident doctor early on in practice ring, but then I paid for it 25 years later.
Doesn't it really get back to it's about the two individuals in the relationship, and the more they're focused on themselves, whether they want to elope and pay $100 for a hotel room or go down to City Hall, versus if the two of you together want to have a big extravagant wedding for yourselves because you love to party and you love to have everyone into town, go for it. I think it's just about communicating, making sure you're doing it for the right reasons.